Today's project is a one-piece non-dripping oil dispenser. Previously, I made a one-piece non-dripping sauce bottle. It was a successful project. Many viewers showed interest, and I personally love that pot. One viewer asked if it could be used as an oil bottle. The short answer is needs changes. This system relies on liquid surface tension, capillary action, and the viscosity of the liquid. The surface tension of oil is less than half that of water, meaning it has less pulling force. When soy sauce flows back into the bottle, the liquid is pulled back by surface tension. However, with oil, the pull is weaker and it may linger at the lip and dribble. Capillary action is the ability of a liquid to flow in narrow spaces without the aid of external forces. This happens due to the adhesive force between the liquid and the surface, and the cohesive force within the liquid. A common example is when you place a paper towel or tissue in contact with water, the water is drawn up through the fibers, thanks to capillary action, where the narrow spaces between the fibers pull the water upwards. I'm not a scientist, so this is just a rough sketch of the theory behind this project. Viscosity also plays a role, and we need to see how it affects this process. Oil presents a challenge for this system. I'm using 800 grams of buff stoneware clay on a small throwing bat, which is attached to the wheel with a thin layer of clay. First, I shape the clay into a cone to equalize its density and center it simultaneously. My right palm presses the top of the cone at the 5 o'clock position, pushing diagonally downwards. My left hand maintains the cone shape, preventing it from turning into a mushroom. This time I prepare the clay a little firmer than usual, as I need to manipulate the narrow top. Softer clay can lose its shape easily. So today, this part of the process takes longer than usual. To bring the clay up, I hold the base with both hands. My little fingers push the bottom inward, and I slowly lift the clay upward. My both thumbs create an angle at the top to prevent a crater from forming. My left hand is slightly higher than the right to create a spiral effect, helping the clay rise smoothly. I repeat this process until the cone becomes smooth and elastic. Once the clay feels smooth under my hands, it's time to form the base. Since today's project is a bottle, the base is slightly higher than usual. I keep the diameter under 10 cm and flatten the top. The base is now about 8 cm. I make a center hole with my right thumb, sliding it from slightly off-center towards the middle. This allows my thumb to naturally pull into the center. Then I deepen the hole with my middle finger and start pulling the clay upward. My left hand keeps the cylinder steady, while my right fingers deepen the hole and slide along the bottom. I press my fingertips into the wall when I reach the corner to pull the clay upwards. I repeat this motion until the bottom is about 7 mm thick. When the bottom is ready, I compress it with a wooden bar. This helps maintain a flat dense base, preventing an S-crack. Now that the opening is large enough for my left hand, I'll start forming a tall cylinder. My right ring finger presses the bottom of the cylinder, while my left middle finger stays slightly above it and receives the pressure from outside. I slowly bring this point up towards the top. To maintain consistent thickness, I keep my hand steady with both thumbs interlocked. I compress the top from 3 directions to create a firm edge. Next, I use a bar to make a cylinder taller. Keeping the bar steady at the cylinder's bottom corner, my left hand slides upwards along the bar, applying pressure. Most of the pressure comes from my left index finger, while the other fingers hold the cylinder shape. My right arm is tightly attached to the body to keep the bar straight. The cylinder is now about 20 centimeters tall, and I'm ready to shape the neck and lid. I gently squeeze the cylinder about 8 centimeters down from the top, then slide my hands upward to narrow the top. When I reach the top, I pinch the wall from both sides to smooth the gathered clay, while my left hand maintains the cylinder's shape. Now that the cylinder resembles a long neck bottle, it's time to stretch the neck further. This will become the lid. It's important to have a long neck for this project so that there is enough overlap between the neck and lid. Extra clay tends to gather at the bottle's shoulder, so I put some of it up to even out the shape. The neck needs to be substantial. If it's too thin, adjusting the fit becomes difficult. The neck also needs to stay straight for a tight fit. To close the top, I squeeze it from both sides. The clay needs to be thick enough because this part will be the lid. If it's too thin, it could cause an S-crack. I pressed the top down to shape the lid's rim. I felt some resistance as the bottle is now sealed. So I made a small air vent hole while shaping the lid. Now the top is easier to adjust. My left index finger is placed just below the top to maintain the neck's diameter as I press the top to create the rim. At this point, the top needs internal support, so I close the air vent hole with a rib. I want to keep the lid's thickness at over 5 mm, so I can create a pouring channel later. I push in the lid's base, where it will overlap with the bottle. This base needs to be high to create a longer channel later and also keep the lid in while pouring. My left middle finger holds the lid steady. Since the overlap is long, the resistance is strong, so I made an air vent hole again. I also add an extra air vent hole to aid the drying process. The greenware shrinks significantly, and without a vent, trapped air could cause the pot to crack. I use fishing wire to cut the pot from the bat. Once the pot is leather hard, I wet the bottom to improve contact with the wheel. For this pot, the overlap between the lid and the body is the focal point, so I position my left middle finger there for tap centering. I seal the bottom edge to the wheel for added stability. Trimming the neck is key for this pot. I need a flat neck for a tight fit, and I also want a flat rim for a good channel. Now I can separate the lid from the bottle. Using a thin needle vertically at the neck's end, I create a clean, flat cut. I trim the inside of the bottle's mouth, making sure it's straight and flat for a tight seal with the lid. The fit is good now. Next, I trim the outside to make the body lighter. I polish around the mouth to ensure a smooth fit with the lid. I trim the bottom corner to free the bottle, making it easier to insert the metal kidney. I trim the bottom using a greenware chuck. First, I wet the chuck for good contact with the wheel. I place the bottle on the chuck, then cover the bottom with a flat piece of wood and a round spirit level on top. When the bubble in the level centers, the surface is horizontal. The bottle has a high center of gravity, making it unstable, so I add extra clay for support. I hold the bottle with a metal spinner to protect my fingers from friction. I trim 1 centimeter from the edge for the foot ring. Then I trim the corner to prevent chipping. I trim a circle 5 mm from the edge, forming the start of a concealed foot ring. Then I trim multiple circles towards the center. Leveling out any peaks. In this way, I can avoid creating a wavy surface, which often occurs when the trimming tool catches clay and starts to jump. Finally, I polish the surface. The bottle is nearly finished. Now I'm going to create channels, two in fact, one for pouring and the other for airflow. The channel needs to be wider than the one for the soy sauce pot, as olive oil is more viscous and won't flow well through a narrow channel. I've tried a few different styles to find the best solution. Long neck, short neck, and narrow channels, etc. At the moment, this simple wide channel works best. But I'm still refining the mechanism to ensure it works 100% of the time. So this project is to be continued. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed watching the pottery process. The one-piece non-dripping oil dispenser is a challenging yet rewarding project. It requires careful consideration of both the throwing technique and the pot's mechanism. This is becoming one of my favorite projects, and your comments inspire me for future videos. Happy creating, and I look forward to seeing you in the next pottery video. By the way, for anyone who's experienced cracking issues at the overlap point due to clay shrinkage, I suggest placing a paper hat on the top. Additionally, here is one idea I tried for the channel, a spiral design. I thought it would work well, but unfortunately it didn't.